We've all been there. You meet someone, maybe it's a new colleague, a girl at a party, or just someone your friend introduced you to. You go in with the basics. Hey, how's it going? What do you do? They answer. You smile, you nod, and then nothing. Your brain searches for the next line, but it's just blank. You feel the tension creeping in, you start overthinking, and before you know it, the moment's gone and you're stuck in awkward silence. This doesn't just happen once, it happens at work, on dates, in the gym, and every time it leaves you with that same frustrating thought. Why do I never know what to say? This used to happen to me all the time. I wasn't really antisocial, I wasn't awkward around my close friends, but the moment I had to talk to someone I didn't really know, my mind would freeze. It felt like I was trapped inside my own head, second guessing every sentence, scanning for the right thing to say, and ending up saying nothing. At first, I thought it was just me, like I wasn't naturally charismatic or not confident enough, but then I realized something. I wasn't lacking confidence, I was lacking structure. No one teaches you how to actually hold a conversation, how to move past small talk, how to spark connection without forcing it. So I started studying people who were naturally good at it. The guy at the party who always had the whole room laughing, the woman at work who could strike up a conversation with anyone and make them feel like the most interesting person in the world. I watched what they did, I tested what worked, and over time I built my own personal system, a simple set of tools that you can use in any conversation, with anyone, anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're introverted, shy, or just out of practice, because once you understand how this works, running out of things to say becomes almost impossible. But before we dive in, there's something important you need to understand. These aren't just social tricks or surface level tactics. If you treat them like cheat codes to win conversations, people will feel it, and it won't land. What actually makes these tools powerful is how real they are. You have to actually mean it. You have to feel it, because when your presence is genuine, that's when connection happens. With that being said, here are my 4 principles to never run out of things to say, regardless of who you're talking to, where you are, or how nervous you feel. 1. Lead with curiosity. In my opinion, this is the most important one. Most people think they struggle in conversations because they're boring, but in reality, it is because they're not present. They try to come across as interesting, smart, or confident, thinking about what to say next or how they are perceived. But that mindset puts you in your own head and pulls you out of the moment. The shift happens when you stop focusing on yourself and start getting curious about the other person, not in a fake, how do I keep this going kind of way, but real curiosity, like, who is this person actually? What's going on in their world? That alone changes everything, because when you're truly interested, the conversation flows on its own. And here's the best part, everyone loves to talk about themselves. It's human nature, so not only will the interaction feel smoother and more real, you'll also leave the other person with a good feeling. They'll remember you, they'll like you, because you made them feel seen. So stop trying to be impressive, just be interested. Ask questions you actually care about. React naturally. Treat the person like a story you haven't heard yet. That alone makes you more engaging than 90% of people. 2. Follow the thread. This one builds directly on the first principle, because once you're genuinely curious, the next step is simple. Follow the thread. Every time someone speaks, they give you multiple directions the conversation could go, but most people only hear the surface level part and miss everything underneath. Let's say someone says, "Yeah, I went hiking last weekend." Most people would reply, "Nice, where'd you go?" And then silence. But if you're paying attention, that one sentence gives you so many possible threads. Do they hike often? Do they go alone or with friends? What made them get into hiking in the first place? Do they have a favorite spot or story? This is how conversations become effortless. Not because you're thinking faster, but because you're actually listening. And when you listen closely, your brain automatically knows where to go next. You don't have to force anything. You're just following the thread that's already there. The goal is not to jump from topic to topic like you're in a job interview. It's to go deeper, to create momentum, to stay in the flow of whatever's already being shared and build on it. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. So instead of hunting for the next question, you're just pulling the next thread, one at a time, until before you know it, you're deep in a real conversation. 3. Drop the filter. You know that voice in your head that says, "Don't say that, it's weird. That's probably not smart enough. They'll think you're trying too hard." Yeah, kill that voice. This is where so many people get stuck, not because they have nothing to say, but because they're over-analyzing everything before it leaves their mouth. Their brain serves up a thought, but instead of saying it, they run it through a filter of judgment. And by the time they've finished debating it, the moment's already gone. Your first instinct is usually more real, more interesting, and more human than whatever your inner critic wants to sanitize it into. And even if it's a little offbeat, that's what makes it memorable. People aren't drawn to perfection, they're drawn to authenticity. Of course, this doesn't mean you say random stuff with zero awareness. It just means you stop trying to be so calculated. You let your personality show. You share the observation, the memory, the joke, even if it's not perfectly polished. That spontaneity is what makes the conversation feel alive. Think of it this way: filtered conversation is like talking through a screen, safe but distant. But unfiltered conversation, that's where connection happens. That's where people actually feel you. So next time your brain offers you something to say, take it. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Just drop the filter and let it land. 4. End gracefully. Lastly, there's something almost no one talks about, but what makes a huge difference: knowing how to end a conversation without making it weird. Most people either drag it out too long or cut it off too suddenly, and both leave a weird taste. But when you learn to exit smoothly, you leave a lasting impression and you keep the door open for next time. So here's the move: appreciation, reason, bridge. Start with appreciation, something like, "Hey, I really enjoy talking to you." It's simple, but it signals respect. You're not just walking away, you're acknowledging the moment. Then, give a reason. It doesn't have to be dramatic. "I should probably check in with my friend," or "I've got to head out soon." It creates closure without making the other person feel like they did something wrong. And finally, bridge it. If you want to stay in touch, say, "I'd love to finish this conversation another time," or "Let's grab a coffee sometime. You seem like someone I could actually talk to for hours." That last part is key because it makes the end feel like a pause, not a full stop. Most people only think about how to start strong, but ending well is what leaves the echo. It's what makes people think, "Damn, I like that guy." At the end of the day, conversations aren't about having the perfect words. They're about creating a feeling that the person across from you is seen, heard, and understood. And once you master that, people will start to feel something around you. They won't always know what it is, but they'll remember it, and they'll want more of it. If you want to take this even further and become the kind of person who walks into a room and instantly changes the energy, then check out this video. It's all about unlocking that deeper level of presence and charisma most people never even tap into. See you there.